Hello, my name is Ryan Harper, and today we're going to be speaking with Shaun Jay. Now, Mr. Jay is a 3D printer and a magician who assisted Ryan Trahan on his mission to meet Mr. Beast for a good cause. So let's take a look.
Sure, my name is Shaun Jay. I'm based in Raleigh, North Carolina. I am a professional magician, 3D designer, and builder of amazing things.
Now, I've seen some of your work before, and I wanted to know, since you're like in Raleigh right now, like what's your history here in North Carolina?
It's a great question. I moved here with my parents when I was about 6 or 7 years old, so I pretty much grew up in North Carolina. I used to live in other small towns in North Carolina, but came to Raleigh when I was about 8 or 9. And so been here ever since. Went to elementary and high school here. And then in high school, around 10th grade, I was getting so busy with performing and things that parents decided it would be best for me to finish school online. And so I did like this online high school thing and ended up doing some college at Wake Tech.
How did you get into 3D printing? Because I did see the video with you, Mr. Beast, and um, Trahan,
Ryan Trahan is his
Ryan
nickname.
Trahan. I'm sorry.
Give you an
And
A for effort. It's okay.
trying to pronounce these
It's all
syllables
good.
correctly. But how did you get involved with the 3D printing with this project?
I mean, with this project in particular, I was contacted by a guy named Tyler Blanchard. He's another YouTuber who is then connected to Ryan Trahan, who's connected to Mr. Beast. It kind of trickled down the line. Tyler has been friends with Ryan for a very long time. I think he told me since high school. Ryan Trahan was approached by Mr. Beast because he's been inspired by Mr. Beast to do these big epic challenges. And so I guess they brainstormed this epic challenge about Ryan going across the country, starting with only a penny, and then doing these various odd jobs to make it all the way, helping through sponsorship, donations, raising money for the foundation Feeding America. So the money is being used to help feed homeless or hungry people that just don't have meals. So that was really cool. And the finale of his 30-day journey, Ryan's journey, was ending in Greenville, North Carolina, where y'all are at, over there in Greenville, about two hours east of me. And that's obviously, most Greenville natives know that's Mr. Beast, his hometown. That's kind of where he got started. And so yeah, Ryan came there on the 30th day. Tyler said, he gave me the rundown. This is what's going on. We're going to need this big penny. And the idea was for Tyler to give it as a gift to Ryan, and then Ryan would take that penny all the way to the finish line at the end. So that's how I got involved. Tyler Blanchard reached out to me and said, hey, can you build this thing? Nobody else either wants to because it's just so bizarre and complicated, or nobody else agreed to do it within the time frame. And the time frame was pretty insane.
Now, I saw the videos with everybody involved,
Yeah.
and I saw your video, and it was really detailed as far as the length of time, the amount of materials that was used. Can you go into that detail about the creating the penny? Because it's not just a penny; it's the appearance that was like one to one with him. Can you go into that detail?
Yeah, so I mean, the original specs that they wanted to match, they're basically saying, we want this to be the same dimensions of a real penny, but just scaled up to be about 3 feet in diameter. And so they said when they did their calculations, it ended up being about 3 inches thick. So those were kind of the specs. 36 inches by 3 inches. The little secret here is I convinced them to drop the size to 30 inches. It just made the 3D printing part of the project so much easier. It's always challenging with 3D printing projects to, like when it's really massive stuff, it just kind of, there's variables and things that could go horribly wrong. So we were able to get a little smaller, and that made it more consistent, which of course you saw the end result quality was awesome. Everybody seemed to be really happy. So it was my decision to break it up the way I explained in the video. Just due to the sheer size of it, it had to be broken up into 4 sections for the front and then 4 sections for the back. I wanted to first have it 3D printed, just the entire thing, just a solid 3D printed thing. But those of you watching and listening who know anything about 3D printing technology, it starts by squirting out the plastic on a flat bed like this. And it's always nice to have a perfectly flat back to whatever you're building up and printing. Whereas if the other side that's against the bed that it's on is expected to have texture and things, it always looks terrible, because when I tried the first test, you need all this like support material that the machine makes to hold it, since it's not completely flat. It's just raised, and you get all this support material underneath. And the tests that I tried, as you saw in the video, on like some of the smaller pieces, I threw all those smaller pieces away because they just didn't look good enough. And they were really concerned about, we want this thing to look as good as possible. We want to impress Mr. Beast. So I said, let's do half and half. And because it was just so big, it needed to be in quarters. So that way the front pieces had perfectly flat backs that could be glued to that wood sandwich for stability. And then the back, I could get all the good detail, because the back pieces were actually printed like this. So the back was flat, and then it built up so you could see the detail here. Yeah, it was a really conceptual thing. It took me longer than I wanted to get to that point. It took me about a week to figure just that part out. But then, yeah, it turned out to be awesome. The wood thing was a good idea. It ended up being very sturdy. I mean, I had no idea Ryan was going to take it on the highway on like an electric bike or something. I was very concerned about that when I saw that. I was like, okay. I agreed. Tyler agreed. I said, look, dude, once I give you this penny, just know it's out of my hands, and if you drop it or whatever, I can't make another one. This is a one-shot thing, so we got to get this right. So he agreed. Nobody dropped it. I mean, there was lots of glue involved. There was lots of sanding with power tools involved. In fact, my index finger on my left hand, from doing this a lot, just sanding and smearing on. My finger actually went numb by the end of the project. I think I damaged a nerve or something in my finger, and that took about a month to go away. This is the first time you're hearing that.
Yeah.
So I'm okay now, totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, all your hard work is showing in the details, in the videos and the pictures I've seen. What was your feelings when you saw the final video and him crossing the finish line and all that with your material in hand?
Sure, my feelings, well, actually, I was away. I was out of town performing when they released the video. I had to, yeah, I wish I would have been physically home to see the whole rundown, but what I saw was awesome. It was so surreal. I was shocked, actually, after the fact that I actually pulled that together in such a short amount of time and was able to make it look as good as it did in such a short amount of time. And it was also surreal just being contacted out of the blue from someone connected with that team. I was like, really, this is too good to be true, and this is bizarre. And I will tell you the truth, Ryan, there were tons of times when I was working on this project where I was literally doubting myself every day, because it was like every day from 9 a.m. to midnight, to be quite honest, because I was, if it wasn't one thing, it was something else. And then at night, I was sanding and making a lot of noise with power tools. So yeah, I basically did about maybe 3 to 4 months of work in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And had I had more time to work on it, it would have been even better. Because I mean, now that I think about this, it almost was like an art piece. People get hired to build crazy stuff like this to stick on a wall, you know, like little planets and art stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it was. So
where does your future lie with, assisting other YouTubers with their 3D printing needs?
Well, yeah, so I've already been contacted by a few other YouTubers for different related projects, so the word is getting out. And it's not like, that actually never really was a goal of mine, to get to do these type of projects for YouTubers, but I'm fine with that. And it's not like 100% of my business. I mean, as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm a professional magician first, right? I perform at private parties and corporate events and those things. And I'm also a designer, and that's the other facet of my life. But it was nice because I'm able to combine them too. I make unique and original props for my show, and I can create unique and original things for other people as well, like inventors and people in the auto industry. So that I see as the future. It's only growing from here, and I mean, it was nice to be able to go from a seed of an idea that might sometimes be worth a penny, you know, and sometimes people don't take your ideas seriously, and then those ideas, with proper care and nourishing, you know, they can get bigger and bigger and bigger, you know, like this one here. And then, of course, you know, then, I mean, it wouldn't be an official Ryan Trahan penny without his face on it. So that's
Yeah.
was kind of like a
Oh my
that's
goodness.
where it all
Okay, yeah,
started.
the detail. Yeah.
So that's how you make the impossible possible.
Yeah.
And that's why I have this behind me. This is my Mad Scientist Lab workshop where stuff like this happens.